Amateur Radio Service, Element 2, Technician Class Question Pool. These questions are valid July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2018. T1D, Authorized and Prohibited Transmissions, Communications with Other Countries, Music, Exchange of Information with Other Services, Incident Language. This video covers questions T1D01 through T1D04. T1D01. With which countries are FCC licensed amateur stations prohibited from exchanging communications? Any country whose administration has notified the ITU that it objects to such communications. Any countries whose administration has notified the ARRL that it objects to such communications. Any country engaged in hostilities with another country. Any country in violation of the War Powers Act of 1934. Let's look at 97.111 authorized transmissions. And we see here in section 1 the clip that says, except those in any country whose administration has notified the ITU that it objects to such communications. Making the answer to this question A. Any country whose administration has notified the ITU that it objects to such communications. T1D02. On which of the following occasions may an FCC licensed amateur station exchange messages with a U.S. military station? During an Armed Forces Day communications test? During a Memorial Day celebration? During an Independence Day celebration? During a propagation test? Let's look at 97.111 authorized transmissions. And specifically, we're going to look at section 5. And we see an amateur station may exchange messages with a participating United States military station during an Armed Forces Day communication test. Let's look at timeanddate.com holidays, Armed Forces Day. And there's some information about Armed Forces Day here. And you can get a complete listing of the dates of Armed Forces Day from this website. So the answer to this question is during an Armed Forces Day communications test. T1D03. When is the transmission of codes or cipher that hide the meaning of a message allowed by an amateur station? Only during contests? Only when operating mobile? Only when transmitting control commands to a space station or a radio control aircraft? Only when frequencies above 1280 megahertz are used? Let's look at 97.211 space telecommand stations. And we see a telecommand station may transmit special codes intended to obscure the meaning of a telecommand message to the space station in operation. We also look at 97.215 telecommand model aircraft, and we see the control signals are not considered code or cipher intended to obscure the meaning of a communication. So the answer is C, only when transmitting control commands to space stations or radio control aircraft. T1D04. What is the only time an amateur station is authorized to transmit music? When incidental to an authorized retransmission of a manned spacecraft communication, when the music produces no spurious emissions, when the purpose is to interfere with an illegal transmission, when the music is transmitted above 1280 megahertz. Let's look at 97.113 prohibited transmissions, and we see section 4, music using a phone emission except as specifically provided elsewhere in this section. In section C, no station shall transmit programs or signals emanating from any type of radio station other than an amateur station, except propagation of weather forecast information intended for use by the general public and originating from a United States government station, and communications, including incidental music originating on the United States government frequencies between a manned spacecraft and its associated Earth station. So the answer will highlight that, originating on a U.S. government frequencies between manned spacecraft and its associated Earth station, making the answer to this question A, when incidental to an authorized retransmission of a manned spacecraft communications. Thank you for watching. References for this video are http://www.ecfr.gov and timeanddate.com at http://www.timeanddate.com. And always please subscribe.